Welcome, my friends, to the Steps of Isha, my favorite free-for-all map in Warhammer 2, and one of the best Total War maps in the last decade. It is a gorgeous one. Pristine, beautiful, and a shining example of what makes Ulthuan and the High Elf special. So, let's mess it up. It's a free-for-all of the gods as Tehenhauin, the Prophet of Sotek, and Lord Kroak, the greatest spellcaster in Warhammer history, face down Noctilus and the Dreadfleet, the Warlord of 8 Peaks, and the Three-Eyed King. Such a shame that such a stunning location will be drowning in bodies by the end of this battle, and this is one of those matches, one of those free-for-alls where you sit back at the end of it and shake your head and say, this is why I play Total War. There's no other game like it. So, grab some milk, snag some cookies, settle in, and enjoy the show, because it's about to get bananas as the green tide rolls over the mountainside, the Black Orcs get to crumpin', and the Everchosen and the pulsating pleasure cannon continue their eternal war. So without further ado, let's talk deployments and army composition as we get the game started here. Archaon and the Swords of Chaos riding to the flank of the Greenskins, but in the red corner on the eastern side of the city wait Black Iron Battles and Skarsnik, Warlord of 8 Peaks, the sneakiest, the stabbiest, the most vindictive goblin in all of the land. He's got Black Orcs, Air Boys, and a whole lot of Groby waiting for the word to WAAAGH. On the north side, Gojira, with one of those builds you will only ever see in free-for-all. Tehenhauin, darkening the skies with a Ripperdactyl and Pterodon Goon Squad. Now this was played during early access, we did not have Tic-Tac-Toe yet, but honestly none of the other factions rely on an Air Force here, so Tic-Tac-Toe wouldn't have been very good anyway. As we've already seen, Rippers can mulch armored units, and they can always pick their engagement, so Gojira could be a huge force this battle, not to mention he has Lord Kroak, about to deliver all kinds of pizzas. Maybe the best caster for free-for-alls in the entire game, because he deletes blobs from very far away, and he can also hide behind buildings and cast from the other side, which is pretty scary, so expect him to do some serious work this battle. Repping the west side is the Dreadfleet and Dob plays, with some interesting selections, the Bloody Reaver Depth Guards with halberds, and the Torch of Bergenhofen, the Gallows Giant, and another Necrophax Colossus waiting on the wings, Count Noctilus himself in the middle of everything. That's pretty much the Vampire Coast army. You're going to be seeing a lot of zombos and halberds there as well. Then on the south side, Archaon the Everchosen with a Gorby's Chariot. I love this unit. You don't see it that often in multiplayer, but it's honestly very impactful against infantry. A lot of shielded Chaos Warriors, some Mirror Guard thrown in for good measure, channeling some Slaneshi goodness and enjoying their beauty in the reflections of their own shields. And then on the south side, we've got some more demonic dildo cannons. Two of them, in fact. One, the Soul of Damnation. One, just a regular old girl. And the Swords of Chaos, riding with their Lord and Master, the Three-Eyed King himself. So, that is going to be a very potent force. They're going to be hunting down the Necrophax and all the infantry they can. But the Hell Cannons might just be the linchpin of the Chaos Army. Because in a fight like this one, where people are guaranteed to fight, get blobbed up, the Hell Cannons can just rip stuff to shreds, as can a Fireball from the flank. But that one will be going straight for the big boss to start this game, and a big flaming ball arcing right past that spider, doing some decent damage there, but didn't explode on top of him, and lost out on some damage that way. So here comes the Goon Squad from Gojira. Oh, load they coming, and a Vindictive Glare gonna take out a bunch of the Pterodons. I'm not sure I actually killed any, but did a ton of damage. 3 of those units are already pretty beaten up, and a 4th one taking some damage as well. But here come the Ripperdactyls and the Pterodons, and this is honestly dangerous. This is a great way to feed a lot of points to your enemies early on, but if you can take out the important targets like the archers that are racking up some very decent damage right now, giving Black Iron Battles a 1,000-point lead at the moment, then you can turn it back. And there's nothing in the back lines, no cavalry, no war boys that I can see that are able to quickly get in and inundate them, prevent them from taking off once again. So these archers might be in big trouble, and he'll be able to take them down pretty quick. But already, here come the war boys. Now they're coming in. They were on the flank. They're going to pin this stuff. But honestly, while this is going to feed a ton of points to Black Iron Battles, remember that Lord Kroak is on the way. And if one thing is good for Lord Kroak, it's his ability to completely delete blobs from a game, and the Greenskins need to be very careful to not overcommit to pinning those Ripperdactyls in place. WAAAGH has popped here. Pterodon still on Overwatch, dropping some Fireleech Bolas and some of those jabs from on high. And the Rippers are taking a ton of damage. Black Iron Battles already up to 5,000 points, so definitely a ton of points going the way of the Greenskins. But the Hell Cannons have opened up now. Archaon and the Chariots are thinking about getting stuck in with those Black Orcs and the Rippers are still causing a ton of havoc in the back. And here, this is what I'm talking about. Deliverance of Itza about to come in, and you know what the Mummified Lich Priest is all about. He's going to raise his hands to the sky. He's going to summon the power of the Old Ones, and Giblets will grace the presence of the Greenskins, destroy an entire blob of them, and immediately, Gojira gonna get right back into second place. One cast was all it took. He's up to 4,200 points now, and not that far behind Black Iron Battles. Now, for sure, this fight has gone the way of the Greenskins. A lot of the Ripperdactyls already dead. I think he kind of probably been a little bit more cautious with how he wanted to use those Rippers and the Pterodons. They're not all dead yet. Tehenhauin is actually completely fine. So is Lord Kroak. But I think sending in 1 or 2 to force a blob rather than the entire army probably would have been beneficial. On the other side of the battlefield, Archaon the Everchosen, Slayer of Kings, has popped, goes directly at the Necrophex Colossus, and here we go. Look at that. 3 attacks, and the Necrophex almost goes down to half HP. His weapon strength up to 800 almost, and Archaon, when he got that Slayer of Kings buff, when he got his AP buff, he turned into one of the best duelists in the game. Now, normally, a lot of just mounted lords aren't going to be amazing when they're just on a horse. Normally, you want to see the Kolex or the Durthus or something with a lot of mobility like a dragon. But seriously, on Dorgar with Slayer of Kings, Archaon is horrifying to fight. Racked up a ton of points there. That was pretty satisfying, and he escaped before the crabs could do anything. More skirmishing done on this side. Lord Kroak is fine for the moment. Kind of levitating out of his own body there. Looking for something to slay with some deliverance of pizzas. And Rippers are coming back, but yeah, Gojira did take a ton of damage there. Will be interesting to see if he can get back into the fight, but he is in second place for now. Interesting skirmish brewing on the other side of the battlefield. Vampire Coast and Chaos going at it. And for some reason, I'm not sure why. I don't know if it was only in this replay or some other time, but the Gallows Giant fire effect is not going to work very well this battle. It's going to look kind of transparent, almost invisible, which is really weird. I'm not sure why that happened. I don't know if that's going to happen in all battles going forward. I don't know if it got ruined in the patch, but we'll definitely need to test it. But here, gonna fire again. Crabs moving up to charge into the front ranks, and no halberds or cavalry that can stop those crabs nearby. Fireball arcing back in. Yeah, you just saw the flamethrower effect from the Gallows Giant. Almost invisible there. Very strange. No idea why that's happening. But regardless, Vampire Coast in a very good position right now. I mean, there's a lot of infantry here that all their units are great for slaughtering, and I can't really afford to charge my whole army into that gun line yet because, I mean, this is what's going to happen. I mean, these Marauders are going to get shredded. They have nowhere to go, and because I'm microwing on 2 flanks at the moment, very hard to pick the correct engagement, and honestly, my army is not designed for taking on the Vampire Coast at the moment. You saw Wind of Death arcing out there in the back, but didn't do a lot of damage. Actually ended up missing most of it. And we've got the Necrophex Colossus and those Gallows Giants really doing a number on me. Now, the Swords of Chaos have made it in to the Rotting Promethean Gun Crabs, and Lamprey's Revenge getting turned into Krabby Patties, but Noctilus very close by, running forward with his halberd, and you know he's got summons and invocations of Mehek for days. So a heal going the way of those regen monsters. Chariots and the Gorbeasts pulling out of some goblins and the big boss, Hell Cannon, covering their retreat, doing quite a lot of damage. I'm in 3rd place at the moment. Dob Place is in 4th. Slojira in 2nd, and Black Iron Battles with a commanding lead after killing all those Ripperdactyls. But Lord Kroak has plenty of more tricks up his sleeve this game. Hell Cannon still ripping into the Greenskins as they move forward, and I realized I need to get my chariots over to the main fight against the Vampire Coast, or I'm going to lose everything. Dov Plays has me right where he wants me. He's got my infantry funneled into a choke point where I have to charge into a gun line and a very steady line of zombie halberds, and Archaon and the Swords of Chaos are really my only good single entity killers, but Slayer of Kings has already popped. I need to keep him in melee for another 2 minutes almost to get that back up and running again. And here, Swords of Chaos surrounding the Necrophex Colossus might be able to kill it, but not gonna be the easiest thing ever. And again, I don't have a lot of bonus versus large in this army. That wasn't what it was designed to do. Definitely can cut through a bunch of zombies, but over on this side, the Hell Cannons, which were firing into the Greenskins, when I went over to kill the Vampire Coast, I did not have infantry to commit to holding back the tides over there. And even if I did commit 1 infantry to hold back, all the stuff on that side wouldn't have been enough to save the Hell Cannon. So they did their damage. They actually fired most of their ammunition, but I am going to lose probably 15 or so shots on them, which is unfortunate. Here in the center, mortars opening up from above. You can see Isha the Mother raising the Moon of Lilith in the background. Super hyped about all that's going on. Praise the sun, and here we go. Lord Kroak, this is why you bring Big Daddy Kroak to the battlefield. Jesus, look at that damage. Nukes going off in the middle of the Steps of Isha. Complete carnage, and Dob Plays is very sad because he had his handguns in a control group. When he moved them backwards, they crisscrossed over the top of each other. They got grouped up, and Gojira picked the perfect time to unleash the devastating deliverance of Itza, and from there it was hundreds of hand cannons down the drain in a single cast. Kroak, very pleased with himself after that one, I am sure. Mirror Guard into the halberd line. They should be able to cut their way through despite the fact they've already taken a lot of damage, and the chariots have gotten into the rear now. Gojira has opened up a big opening for me and allowed my chariots to get in, and Dob Plays suddenly, even though he was set up in a perfect choke point, is surrounded. Now, to be fair, Lizardmen don't have a lot to commit to melee. They kind of just have to wait for the juicy, choicest blobs to open up, and then they can do some more deliverance of Itzas and delete them from the game. But in terms of his flying air force, because it wasn't used very well early on, it means that he kind of has to be very patient, very cautious about how he engages with the rest of his troops. The same thing can be said for Archaon the Everchosen, who is skirting around and waiting for an opportunity to strike. That is a Ray Storm coming in from Noctilus. Cannonballs taking out a few of Archaon's bodyguards, and the remnants of the handguns still firing in, but the Pterodons and what remains of the Riperdactyls will go into melee and try to kill some of this stuff. But they gotta be real careful because the Depth Guard polearms, the Bloody Reaver Depth Guard, are some of the best halberd units in the game. You don't see them with the Vampire Coast because they're just so expensive, and because they are very susceptible to getting shot to pieces by any range fire. And why bring 1 expensive halberd when you can bring like 4 or 5 for a much cheaper price that are just as unbreakable and actually have more HP? So that's why you don't see them very often. Fireball coming in from the side. Archaon gonna hit a crab, but he just shakes it off, doesn't really care. They are weak to fire because they have that regen, I believe, but I think it's irrelevant. 1 fireball probably not gonna be able to take out the unit, and didn't even take out 1 model. More of that Gallows Giant silliness as invisible flames wreathe the remains of the infantry. But man, Chaos has taken a beating this game. I'm in last place right now. I'm gonna have to do something. Lord Kroak is taking all the points though. Another blob from Dob Plays. Good night, sweet prince. More carnage. Look at that. That is insane. That is why you cannot blob if Kroak is on the field. There were 400 dudes there, and there were about 50 that left by the end of it. Crabs charging into melee, and the Necrophax Colossus unleashing that triple barrel assault cannon, doing some serious work. Lamprey's Revenge still in the fight, and this was a huge mistake on my part because I allowed that thing to come back. Noctilus has been glorious this game at healing it up, making sure the Lamprey's Revenge is always tip-top, and somehow, even though it was crumbling when it was fighting against my Swords of Chaos, it's still in the fight and still causing a ton of havoc and hurting me badly. It's one of the reasons I'm in last place. The crabs have just been causing mayhem left, right, and center all game long. But take a look at the points. All of us are still within striking distance for winning this game, and more importantly, all the important stuff is still on the field for all 4 factions. Lord Kroak and Tehenhauin are still alive. Skarsnik and the Black Orcs are still alive. Both Necrophax Colossus are still alive, and the Depth Guard polearms. And Archaon, Swords of Chaos, and the Gorby's Chariots still causing a ton of havoc and choosing their engagements. And this is where things get very interesting because the infantry mostly dead for pretty much all 4 armies, right? There's still some Black Orcs and a few things here or there smattered across all 4 factions, but for the most part, it's the monsters and it's the stuff with mobility. So if we're cautious with our engagements, if we pick the right targets and only engage when we know we can get points, maximize that value, and then pull away and go for something else, we could maybe crawl our way back. At the moment, we are pretty far away from first place, and it might even be out of reach at this point. Lord Kroak continues to just put so much pressure on both the Greenskins and the Vampire Coast. Another one. DJ Khaled, another one. Mustard on a beat is gonna just keep dropping fat beats on top of these guys, and it's just disgusting what he's able to do in free-for-all games especially. Nice crab kill with the fireball, but because free-for-alls, by their very nature, focus your attention in so many different areas of the map, because they aren't kind of one-dimensional fights where you just run on each other because you've got enemies coming at you from multiple flanks. People's attentions are pulled many different directions, and we can see the effect of that here as the Necrofex goes down, loses its legs, and collapses on top of a Black Orc and rips its arm off with those nasty fishhook claws. But yeah, I mean, it pulls your attention in so many different directions. Lord Kroak can just come in and drop a nasty explosive force in the middle of your army, and you won't be any the wiser until you've seen half your units get deleted. And that is why he has 585 kills right now. Almost 600 kills under the protection of the old ones. I mean, you just don't see that very often. It's crazy. Lord Kroak is a god, a true god, and Archaon is about to punish this deity of the Lizardmen. Take a look. Swords of Chaos and the Everchosen himself, the three-eyed king, surrounding the mummified Lich Priest, and even Kroak will not be able to escape this one. He has no speed, no way to escape, and if Tehenhauin lands in the middle of that, he too will die. Lord Kroak, despite causing just so much mayhem this battle, so much destruction, will fall to the Dark Gods. And I'm pretty sure that there are very few entities in the entirety of Warhammer Fantasy Battle that the Ruinous Powers would be more pleased to see crumble into nothing than Kroak himself. And he will levitate to join the Seraphon in Age of Sigmar. Good night. And Archaon will move on, kill some skinks, and look for a different target, because we have so much more work left to do if we want to have any hope of winning this battle. Even after killing Kroak, we're behind Dov, we're behind Slojira, behind Black Iron Battles, and Black Iron has a commanding lead at the moment. But he's got an uphill climb, because the Gallows Giant, the Torch of Bergenhofen, the Reaper of Souls, has a big-ass M2 flamethrower, and he knows how to use it. And those Black Orcs say, nope, no sir, I have no desire to get anywhere near that bad boy, and they are going to run. WAAAGH pops for the third time this game. If Skarsnik is good for anything, it's as a WAAAGH battery. He can make that pop a ton of times in a free-for-all like this one. I mean, we're going on 20 minutes at the moment, so it might even be his fourth. I'm not sure how many WAAAGHs he's gotten off this game, but certainly a lot of them. Might be the third. Depth Guard killing the remnants of the big boss and what remains of the Warlord of 8 Peaks. Greenskins aren't going to be out of this yet, but they definitely don't have a lot left. I'd say Vampire Coast has the most terrifying army left, because they have a mostly full-strength Torch of Bergenhofen. They've got the big giant crabs. They've got the Depth Guard. Dealing with all that could be pretty tough. Skarsnik, surrounded by AP units, certainly not the best location for him to be in. And honestly, all four armies are severely beaten to hell at this point. Those important units I was talking about beginning to crumble for all sides. And yeah, the Torch, it's about half HP, maybe a little bit less. Black Orcs just routed. Noctilus full HP. That is a problem. So Foe Seeker popped on Archaon. We've got to look for a way to kill him, but getting through those halberds and the big single entity monster with the support from the bonus force large and AP on Noctilus could be pretty tough. So go for the points. You know what you can get, which means the routing Black Orcs. All that, we can crawl our way back and maybe get into third if we're lucky here. Skarsnik and Gobla in the middle of Noctilus, Lamprey's Revenge, and the Torch of Bergenhofen Gallows Giant, ripping stuff up. But Skarsnik looks like he's about to go down. Chariots charging in. Death Guard are very close by, and we baited them in to the chariots here. And Archaon, as Skarsnik routes, has an opening to maybe get in and start causing some serious damage against those big monsters. Tehenhauin also helping out here. He's pulling a lot of attention from the Vampire Coast, even though he won't be able to do that much against the big scary monster like that one. And Archaon comes in from behind. Rear charge into the Gallows Giant. Noctilus nearby. Skarsnik actually rallied in the middle of that fight, and still, this late into the game, almost 20 minutes in, all four players still have a chance of winning. Here we go. Most important moment of the game. Slayer of Kings pops. He's up to almost 800 weapon strength, and he's going in and fighting Noctilus. If we can snipe him out somehow, we can maybe take this game. Noctilus has halberds, he has Death Guard support. Archaon popping Uzul, unleashing the Taker of Skulls, unleashing that magical sword, and slicing the heads of those Depth Guard. And here we go, with Slayer of Kings popped. 1 hit, 2 hit. I'm not sure the second one hit, but the third one will carve into that breastplate, chop him down, and he is murdering Noctilus. Take a look at that bar drop for the leader of the Dreadfleet. 4 hits. He's almost dead. 1 more hit. 5. That's gonna be 5. That's gonna be in about 7 attacks. He hits 5 times. Noctilus crumbles into the dust. He's dead. Archaon. That is the power of the Everchosen. People have been memeing him for so long, but there is no other lord in the game that can do what Archaon just did. Fighting a halberd lord. Noctilus, one of the tankiest, one of the most defensible, one of the best footlords in the game, maybe the best footlord in the game, gets dumpstered by Archaon here. 7 attacks, all it requires, and he goes down, and then charges into the back of the Gallows Giant, chops off its leg, rides off into the sunset, and says, yeah, no big deal. I'm the Everchosen, son. Kneel. Kneel before your god. Kneel before the ruinous powers. Archaon putting the team on his back, and still Chaos is in last place. Skarsnik could give a few more points, but it's really gonna be about who makes the last stand, who is the last player left on the field, and will they have enough points left over for that win bonus to actually take the game. Archaon fighting Depth Guard, elite Depth Guard, not normally the fight he would like to take, but with the Swords of Chaos backing him up, just might have enough killing power to kill what remains of the Bloody Reavers, and those elite halberds get charged from the rear. That is a lot of AP and bonus versus infantry going their way, and the Gorilla, that Gorbies, comes in, 1 left hook, gonna jib one of the models there, and that should be enough to take down the halberds, which does mean Chaos will take the field. But there's a big question that remains. They're the last one standing. They're gonna get 2,500, maybe 3,000 points for winning. It fluctuates though. There's no way to know if it's actually gonna be enough to take the battle. It's now between either me or Black Iron Battles. Jumped into third, jump into first. Chaos takes the game on the last hit of Skarsnik there, routes him, and barely, my god, barely pulls that one out. About 500 points separating first from second place, and just in the midnight hour, the witching hour, managed to sneak that one out and carve out a victory. Archaon. Greg Jennings up in there, man. Put the team on his back, though. I've never seen Archaon do that before. I mean, look, he has been buffed time and time again. He is a great lord, expensive for sure, but you get a caster and a great duelist. But that wasn't just great dueling. That was amazing. He went in, and in 7 hits, hit Noctilus 5 times, chunked him from full HP to 0. When Noctilus was in the middle of a bunch of halberd units. That is crazy. That was incredibly impressive, and Everchosen showing off why he's called that. Neverchosen no longer, definitely a god amongst mortals. For Dov, the Necrofex and the Gallows Giant were used incredibly well, as was the Lamprey's Revenge. I had kind of thought that the crabs were just going to crumble out of the game, so I didn't worry about them, and then they came back and ended up getting 142 kills because of those invocations of Nahak. Now, for Slow Jira, the Ripperdactyl attack probably could have been done a little bit better. I don't recommend sending in flyers isolated by themselves. I think it's better to wait until more stuff is committed to the fight, then do it. But Lord Kroak, 585 kills is absolutely absurd. I don't even know what to say about it. I mean, it's just so vicious, so mean. One of the best casters in the game for free-for-alls, no question about it, and just super enjoyable to watch him deliver pizza all over the battlefield. You do not know what's coming until you cast that spell, and then it's too late, and you see entire sections of your army just turn into red mist. Super fun free-for-all. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I certainly did. One of my favorite battles in a long time, and I'll see you all in the next one. Any Pride, signing out for now.